Welcome back to Democracy 3 with me, OnionGrave64, CivilOnion, Daniel, whatever you want to call me. Anyway, I went through all the boring stuff last episode, and if you didn't listen to the last episode before you're watching this one, please do so you don't accuse me of being racist or, completely uncaring about people's feelings, blah blah blah. Already went through all that, not going through it this time. In this video, we're going to try and actually play the game. Who would have thought it? Now, the first things we have to accept are the bars in red. Liberals haters, parents haters, trade unions haters. If a political group hates you too much for too long, they will try to kill you. So you have to be very careful with your policies. I can tell you for a fact that we have issues with internet crime, but anything to fix internet crime is probably going to annoy the Liberals. So we're going to ignore that first. The first thing we're probably going to try and fix is the asthma epidemic. And the reason for that is because it makes parents absolutely haters. And parents are quite a large percentage of the population. I can actually show you which the biggest groups are very, very easily. I think it's this chart. Yes, it is. So we can see here the first percentages are the percentages of people. So the everyone group has everybody in it. Okay. Can we put this in order of most people? Oops. Of most people, I don't think we can. But looking at a gaze, the biggest percentage of people we have are conservatives. We have a lot of conservatives. We have a lot of socialists. We have a lot of patriots. So in an ideal world, if we wanted to get voted back in, which we do, this is a very important group, and they are unhappy with us right now. However, the number of them is going up. They like death penalty, they like gated communities, they like the gun laws, they don't like antisocial behaviour, but antisocial behaviour means more of them start becoming members of the Conservatives. But violent crime knocks the amount of them down. I mean, groups like the self-employed and the youths are really low, so we're probably not going to prioritise them too much. There are a lot of very complicated graphs and charts in this game. I will probably bring them up slowly over time so I don't just kill you with stuff all at once. As crime's an issue, but Liberals hating us is also a huge issue. So we're probably not going to deal with the crime problem first. We're probably going to deal with the pollution. And the pollution is caused by the environment. And the environment problems are caused by how much car usage is going on. And the GDP being reasonably good is making the environment worse. GDP is good, more industries happening, more planes are flying, more people are travelling in cars, so that makes the environment worse. We do have a hybrid car initiative already being used, and this is good for everything. There's no disadvantage to doing this, it just costs money. Because it makes the environmentalists happy, it makes motorists happy, it means car usage bizarrely goes up, but, well, it's not bizarre. Well, I say it's not bizarre. It really isn't that bizarre because you're paying to effectively cover the price difference a hybrid car is expense-wise. But what this is going to do is increase the amount of environmentalists. And I'm not a pro at this game, but the consensus I seem to have found is that the more people you can try and get into just one group of is key, because if you get everybody to be an environmentalist and then you really impress environmentalists, everybody's impressed with you. And the honest truth is that you can't please everybody. You cannot please everybody. Especially you can't please the religious if you're trying to please the Liberals. They absolutely despise one another and they are complete polar opposites. Likewise, if you try and be nice to the religious, the Liberals tend to absolutely detest you. And the reason they tend to detest me is because I like to move this. Can't move it right now, we don't have enough points. I can lower it, can't raise it. So I can make it creationism, or prioritise at least on creationism, but I can't change it to evolution yet. Like I said, my changes in this game are not going to be reflected on who I am, because I'm not an environmentalist, really. I like the environment being nice, but I'm not an environmentalist, really. So ideally I would like it more kind of up here in an ideal world. Mainly because it reduces the amount of religious people. It pisses them off a bit, but it impresses the liberals, it makes more liberals, and the technological advantage goes up. In this game, if you teach only creationism, you don't get any technological advantage, whereas if you go all the way to evolution, you get a lot of tech advantage, but notice how much religious people hate you. And religious people in this game are not opposed to trying to kill you very easily and very quickly with assassinations. So I wouldn't recommend that immediately for sure. Like I said, we're going to try and focus on getting rid of our health issues. But to do that, unfortunately for almost everybody, I have to raise taxes. I can't afford to on income tax right now, so that's unfortunate. Notice how much the middle income people hate the income tax. Now, what tax can I change that the socialists will like? They like being taxed, which is very rare. Almost every other group hates being taxed, but the socialists like it, so you want to make the most of it. They also like legal aid, as it happens as well. And there's really nothing wrong with cranking that up all the way, except it costs money. Because nobody there has a problem. I'm surprised, actually, that it doesn't... well, I suppose it wouldn't piss off patriots. Foreign aid definitely would, but legal aid maybe not. Anyway, I won't change that yet. I need to change a tax. So which was going to impress socialists? If we raise corporation tax, capitalists will get very angry. And the self-employed don't really like it either. It will increase the amount of socialists you get, though. And it will also hurt your GDP, but that also means it improves your environment. So it's kind of complicated. The problem is I'd have to raise it a long, long way in order to earn enough money for us to not be in a deficit. I can afford to do it though, so I'm going to do this right now. We're going to earn a lot of money. We're not going to really have much of a deficit after this. But we only have 2 points left, so there's not really much else we can do on this turn. So I'm going to quickly check what we can do. We could do a tourism ad campaign, but that's not really going to help. Alcohol awareness, we could do. The only thing I do not like about this game is that I can't implement that and then decide, actually that's a bad idea, so I'm not going to. Before you see what happens, you lose the points. So I'm just going to check anything else first, in case that's something I actually don't want to do. Capitalists do not like clean energy subsidies, because it means they have to pay more to people they generally don't like. We can't do anything on there. Can we do anything here? The healthy eating campaign is useful. It does improve health. Do parents like that? I can't remember. I think it yeah, it just improves health. So that's perfect. The health and the environment are very closely interlinked for obvious reasons. I mean, the asthma epidemic kind of is the combination of those two problems. The environment really does cause an asthma problem, which really angers parents. What is the box for the environment? That's for carbon. I want to find... This is the only problem with this game, because everything's a symbol, and if you can't work out what the symbol is, then good luck to you. I actually wanted to check what the environment was, although I can actually find that a slightly cheaty way by doing it like this. Okay, the environment's that symbol. I'll try and remember that for the future. But yes, as you can see, our hybrid cars initiative is going to improve it. The number in brackets is how many turns it's going to take for the effect to be full. So in 4 turns' time, and that's I think a year in this game, that'll be at its full effect. So it'll go from being 3.5% advantage bonus to 9 and nearly a quarter. So that's very good. Our pollution is ridiculously high though. Again, that's caused by the environment, and that is caused by car usage. This is basically the way to do this in the easiest way, because you can kind of work out by going from graph to graph to graph. Ooh, fireworks. Pretty fireworks going on outside. Anyway, you can go from graph to graph to graph to try and find out what you need to do. For example, we're doing a lot of road building, which is meaning car usage is going way up. And it actually means that people are being employed in it as well. That's something we might want to do this with later. It means motorists hate us, but environmentalists love us, and car usage really drops. It does mean, though, people get more unemployed. Anyway, we'll go to the next term, because we physically can't do anything else. Right. Nobody's tried to kill us yet. The Traditional Values Alliance is mounting an online campaign. Intelligence briefing. Any group in the top bit without the gun symbol are not too bad unless they become an absolutely astronomically large number. For example, the Traditional Values Alliance, as we've been briefed, don't like us very much, but their threat is pretty low. Now below us we have groups that are all minimal right now, but these are groups that are really, really going to cause problems if they start growing in number. These are the ones that will kill you. For example, the Crusaders of the Lord, as you can probably work out, are religious extremists. Yeah, these are dangerous. And hopefully we won't get any of them. Probably will. I need to go back to that briefing, please. Polls are bad, but we don't have to worry about that right now because we're not going to have a vote for nearly 4 years. Our credit rating is terrible, which means our interest is eating away at our budget. We have a debt protection law question to answer. Debt collection agencies have been in the news because of the way they collect money. Basically, they con very stupid people or people with terrible cash flow into being stuck in debt forever. And if we limit them, then the capitalists will probably get very angry with us. But if we allow them to operate, the capitalists will probably be very happy with us. But a lot of people probably won't like us. So for now, we're going to limit the activity. Capitalists don't hate me too much right now. And like I said, it was socialists that killed me last time, so I don't want them to be angry with me. I'd like everyone to be an environmentalist, but right now, I just don't want the socialists to kill me. So now we've got 25 points of capital to use again. The amount of capital you get, like I said in the last video, is determined by how good and how loyal your ministers are. So we need to look back at the environment, and I remember what the button looks like. That's the environment. Car usage is our biggest problem here. And the reason car usage is up the most is because of road building. And notice how car usage has an enormous number of effects. It means if you use more cars, you get more money off petrol tax, obviously. But it also means you have to pay more money as a government towards biofuel subsidies. So what we're going to do is try to turn this down, and what we're going to do is save ourselves a lot of money and temporarily at least piss off the motorists. They don't hate me too much, although they will soon, I suspect. Do biofuel make car... No, that's perfect. Biofuel subsidies make motorists happier, but they don't increase car usage. They make farmers happier and more common. Farmers tend to be a bit difficult because there is a random event, randomish. There's a random-ish event out there, mad cow disease, and if that happens, farmers, even if they go from being really supportive of you, just go to hating you immediately. Even though it can be nothing to do with you, really, they can just absolutely destroy you. I'm going to quickly show you another graph, actually, while we're at it. This wasn't the one... Actually, no, we'll show you this one. On turn 1 of the game, the USA is considered to be conservative... not reasonably, slightly more conservative and capitalist than socialist and liberal. Now, depending on which quadrant you're in, obviously determines what your society is like. If, for example... Usually most of my countries end up in the bottom left quadrant, to be honest. Because my mindset is a bit more like them. Because if you're going to ask me, Daniel, what are your personal opinions on things, that's probably a bad idea because you're not going to agree with me when we'll start fighting. But more likely, if you're asking me honestly, I am quite liberal and quite socialist. I do not fit the stereotype really of either, because I am very interested in business. And there are times where I think, wow, people's society's gone to shit because they can't do traditional values, which is a very conservative thing to say. I'm quite close to the middle. I'm not extreme in any direction. But anyway, usually most of my countries end up in the bottom left quadrant. And that's probably where this one's going to go. Not intentionally, but I'm trying to get environmentalists on board. That's the idea of what we're doing here. And generally speaking, they like bottom left. Not necessarily, but generally. So, we actually have a surplus now. We're earning $25 billion a quarter because the game goes in quarters. 4 turns is 1 year. We have a surplus of $25 billion. Our debt. The US's debt right now is over $3 trillion. So at $25 billion, we're not exactly going to carve away. However, if we keep having surpluses, our credit rating will go up, which means we spend less money on interest. I think we can end this turn now, and I think I'll end the video. I'll see you guys next time.